Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being with us today.
I feel like this is going to piss me off.
Is this going to piss you off?
I think so.
I think not.
Oh, no?
Well, I mean, I know how much you love the police. So,
Yeah.
More love for the police.
On the first day of employment at the sheriff's office, and we hire once a month, I meet with the men and women, and I said, I expect you to be honest, ethical, and moral all the time. I expect you to treat people like you'd want your mother treated. And if you do that, you'll have a wonderful career here. And then I go on to explain that, you know, if you work for a fast food restaurant and they catch you sliding pizzas out the back door to their friends, they will terminate your employment and run you off. But there's a difference. If we find you violating the law at the sheriff's office, we will also terminate your employment, but we will lock you up in the county jail. We're held to a higher standard. You can't police a community if you don't hold yourself to a higher standard than you expect of the people from the community.
You got me fucked up.
You thought I was going to piss you off?
I thought you was about to piss
Why
me
would
off.
you think that? I generally try to show you
videos.
videos.
Fuck you do. Don't fuck.
Well, listen.
No.
Listen.
We're not going to act like that's not what the fuck you do over here. They know.
I personally love.
I know.
I personally love.
You know.
Rewriting history. So, with that being said, we're gonna keep playing the video.
Yeah.
So think about this and keep okay.
No.
We're off to a good start.
No.
We're off to a good start.
That's 100. I'm going to give you 100.
Let's see if we're gonna maintain that good start.
That being said.
Then I look at them and I say, do you understand what I said? And I have them all say, yes, sir, I understand. These folks forgot.
Nigga. Why the fuck his employee picture look like this? What's going on? What the fuck is this? You remember when they had picture day at your school?
Yeah.
If I brought something like that to my mom, I get my ass whooped, my dude.
Uh-huh. I like how he pulled out their fucking school pictures like a parent too. This is my child here. He graduated 10 years ago. Cum laude. He pulled that shit out.
They forgot what they were taught. They obviously didn't pay any attention to my warning. And as a result, we locked these 3 deputies up on Friday night.
Ooh.
And here's how it started.
Ooh, story time.
These 3 folks were on our crime suppression team. We were receiving complaints and actually fears of gang activity and narcotics activity in a community, and they were sent there to try to keep the community safe, stop the narcotics dealing, and as a result, break up the gang activity. While patrolling in the Winter Haven or the Central District area, they came upon a suspect who ran a red light, John Rosinski, who has been with us for about 3.5 years, stopped the vehicle. He was backed up by Jamal Lawson and Garrett Cook. When they stopped, they asked for permission to search the vehicle, which was denied, which is traditionally what our suspects do. We called a canine. The canine did a search and alerted to drugs. They searched the vehicle and they found in the trunk of the vehicle marijuana and alprazolam, controlled substances. So they arrested the suspect, and in the suspect's pocket, it was a female. She had more marijuana in small quantities and $723. When they wrote in their affidavit to put her in jail, and John Rosinski was the arresting deputy, they wrote that they seized a large quantity of cash. So they wrote it in the arrest affidavit, and they also wrote it in their initial report. So this was on the 21st of December. They take the suspect to jail. They have a day off. They come back to work on the 23rd of December, where John writes his report, and he processes evidence, and he puts several pieces of evidence into property and evidence. But they don't put any cash, any money into property and evidence.
How much money did she have?
$723. Merry Christmas, motherfucker.
That's it?
You got caught for $723?
What the three of them talk about on the 23rd is, the money's missing. They counted it, all three of them at some point in time counted the money and determined it was $723. And then I'll fast forward to the investigation. Rosinski said Lawson had the money. Lawson said he didn't have the money. Rosinski had the money, and Garrett Cook said, I never had the money, but they all admitted counting the money. So they decided on the 23rd of December, we've really got a problem here. We're missing money. We've lost the $723. They decided at that point what they would do is they would all kick in and replace the money, which is inappropriate, by the way. But they never did. And they did not go to their supervisor and say, we lost the money. So time goes on. Rosinski even has a conversation and says, you know, I'm afraid before this is over with, I'm going to get arrested for theft. So they still do nothing. Now let's advance into March, when our suspect's felony charges are reduced to misdemeanor possession of marijuana. Once that happens, our suspect calls property and evidence and said, hey, I would like to have my cell phone and my money back. She said it was somewhere under $730. She didn't know exactly how much. Property and evidence refers her back to the district and to the supervisors where the event occurred. She calls and talks to what we call the RID, Regional Intake Detective. That detective was filling in actually for the RID detective, and she said, look, I would like my money back. So he looks, he pulls up the reports, and he says, we'll get back to you. He calls Rosinski and says, I don't see any money here. Rosinski gets panicked. Rosinski starts talking to his buddies, and I'm giving you the 30,000-foot view because, and you can see in the press release, they have different versions of this conversation. In the meantime, Rosinski also calls down to P&E, Property and Evidence. The Property and Evidence lady goes, no, there's no mention of any money in any of that property and evidence that was seized and ultimately we have. But the Property and Evidence lady went forward and searched all around to see if maybe a piece of evidence got logged by mistake under the wrong case number, and she found none. And then Rosinski says, when he called the lady at P&E, he said, call me back on your personal cell phone. So they had this conversation, and he said, did anybody hear you talking to me? Just forget this conversation occurred. She hangs the phone up, and she says to herself, that doesn't sound right.
I ain't about to lose my job for the money you lost.
Hold up.
I ain't about to lose
I'm
my...
gonna be honest with you. My emotions are going everywhere with this story.
No, me, I'm invested. Why did you stop?
No, it's not
I'm on
I
episode
didn't
2,
say I'm not
season
invested.
3.
I'm not invested. I'm saying it's all over the place. At first, I was like, yeah, they're fucking corrupt. get him. Then I found out it was $723. I'm like, do I really give a fuck?
And they didn't really steal it, from what they say.
From what they say, allegedly.
Allegedly.
And then, so I'm like, who cares? It's $720. Like, let the niggas free. You know what I mean? Free my cops. Can you even say that?
No. No.
Free my cops.
You all not.
Free my
For my niggas cops.
free my cops, Zelensky. And then I find out the reason why they got the money in the first place is because they arrested someone for marijuana, which I'm like, who cares?
Who cares?
Right? So I'm getting through this story. I'm like, bro, just let them out. Who cares? This is let the girl get her money back. Let these guys free. Who cares?
But it's getting deeper.
And then I find out this dude's kidding up on the cell phone, be like, yo, did anybody hear this shit? Yo, don't talk to anybody. Forget you heard this shit, bitch. And I'm like, yo, get this nigga. Get him now. Because now I'm invested again. Now I'm like, get these motherfuckers.
If they about to do this shit for this motherfucker,
Yeah.
they did some other shit.
We gonna get to that.
We
get to that.
We gonna get to that.
I mean, you already there.
Hey, we there.
But let me catch up.
Let's go.
Okay.
I hope season 8 doesn't let me down. Let's go.
So she goes to her sergeant. Her sergeant goes to Rosinski's sergeant. Rosinski's sergeant calls him in and goes, what is this all about? The money. Don't worry about it, Sarge. We got it covered. I'm writing a supplement report. And the sergeant says, stop. I don't know what you're talking about, but stop what you're doing. Everybody did what was right when it came to their attention by our suspect, who is now the victim of a theft. But these three folks. So our Rosinski sergeant gets with his supervision. We start a criminal investigation immediately. This all happens from last Monday. Last Monday's when the lady made the initial request for her money back. We do an investigation, and our detectives and supervisors are simply the very best, did what they were supposed to do. When they saw something that wasn't right, they immediately investigated. And within 5 days of this being first brought to our attention and us sorting through and talking to the supervisors and the P&E and completing an investigation, on Friday night, we locked all three of these deputies up. Now, I can tell you I've been with the sheriff's office my entire adult life. And from memory, I can only remember 2 other occasions in almost 50 years where we've arrested more than one deputy at a time, and that was, both of those occasions were back in the 1970s.
Correct.
Okay.
This is the first time ever that we criminally charge 3 deputies.
Okay. I'm gonna give my 2 shots.
So basically, what they just never found the money. So they're just gonna pin them on.
Yeah, but also the evidence tampering is what they're really charged with, which is hiding the evidence, which is, I think, the big thing.
Yeah.
Because you're tampering with the evidence that's important for a case, per se.
And we don't know who the hell got the money.
Yes. But more importantly, it's like the way that they try to finagle the evidence itself, which is what's the real issue.
Yeah. And they didn't see an issue with that.
Twofold.
Oh,
First,
number 1.
Obviously my initial reaction was like, whatever, you know what I mean? But if you think about creating public trust, we all know that if we stole $730, we got caught by the cops, it'd be a big thing. So to let these guys off with stealing $730 isn't right, because it sets the wrong precedent. You got to lead by example, consider you got those extra powers, extra privileges, extra responsibility. So I agree with it from a principle standpoint. I think that's where the chief really has me in that regards, considering his whole speech. The second thing I think of is the only reason these guys got caught is because they're dumb as fuck.
Yeah, because they're stupid.
Right?
Concur.
And he says, like, oh, this is the only time we could really remember capturing multiple people. Best believe there's far more elaborate, well-covered, well-documented cover-ups or police operations in terms of, like, stealing money, stealing drugs, all this other stuff that's happening that they'll never find out about. They only caught this one because the woman said, hey, I need my money back, and then they lawed through the evidence. It's like, wait, something's missing. And the people were stupid with the way that they went about stuff. Hey, bitch, don't tell nobody. Goodbye. What? It's the only reason they caught these bumbling idiots. So imagine for the police officers who have half a brain and know how to cover their tracks. So I don't want to shit on this whole thing because I do think it's great that he came up here and he was like very open with everybody and said, listen, we're making an example out of them. Though honestly, how much time are they really going to face? I don't really know. But you still need to give kudos and flowers when it's due because at the end of the day, they're doing the right thing. But in my head, I'm thinking like, these are niggas we not talking about that really matter.
Yeah, because me personally, I'm happy that this happened in the way that he handled it and everything and stuff. He was really straightforward. We really thought, when he came in, I thought it was going to be a press conference. No, it was story time. Yeah. But he was very open about it and very transparent with it. But I got mixed feelings, so I'm happy that happened the way he handled it. But now, it just proves what I thought about the police.
What?
When you have a backup and when you have two officers, that's why I say that all cops are bad. And I already told that to some cops. We had this discussion, and I'm saying if you're there's something I got not arrested, but cop pulled me over and everything and stuff, and we had this conversation when I was talking to him about, you're a cop before you're black. He didn't like that. Shout outs to you, Mr. Johnson. It's the fourth time this guy arrests me. Anyways, that's different. That's the story. Anyways, so, and he was like saying, no, I don't like what you're saying. I'm like, yo, listen, and his partner went overboard at some point saying some shit to me, and they went to the car to verify my ID while we were having this conversation. And after he got out the car, his partner came out. I'm like, see what you did there? Your partner, you're going to tell your partner he did wrong. Maybe you're going to tell your partner he did wrong later on. Not going to catch him on the spot when he goes overboard, when he's not shutting the fuck up, when he should shut the fuck up and just listen, because we're having an A and B conversation, right? When he's going to say something that's very egregious and I had to catch him back. And that's what it is. Basically, if you see your partner do something wrong, you're not going to hold him accountable right on the spot. Maybe later on, maybe the next day, remember what you did? I think what you did was vivid, but the deed is already done. You're not going to catch him up right now. Or sometimes you're going to cover his thing. You're going to cover him with bullshit. You're going to cover him with bullshit. Yeah, no, we're right now, we're in an investigation, and you know damn well it's not true. Okay, just to cover up what he's saying, because I get arrested for some bullshit, right? And that's the reason why, because no matter what happened, the fraternity of cops is bigger than whatever. Even if you want to do the right thing, you can't be doing, you can't go against that because you got people looking at you wrong and stuff. But anyways, all that to say that that's a reason why it just proves what I'm saying, that of course there's going to be some bad apples, but the rest of the apples, most of the time, don't say shit. Now, it's great that he's saying shit and he's talking about it, but like Abba says, it's the motherfuckers that we're not talking about that we should. All the people that are not filmed, that are not talked about, that are actually a little bit smarter than these three goobers that get off with a lot of things. And whenever we talk about it, they're like, man, we don't have evidence of. Yeah, you're gonna do an investigation, but you're gonna investigate yourself. Unless it's a big thing, right? Unless I get hurt by the police or whatever. If it's not that, you're going to investigate yourself. Where is the trust? So I'm glad that he did what he did, but I'm still iffy about it.
You know what I think it is?
What you think it is?
I think it's when you say all cops are bad, it just turns folks off, kind of like saying toxic masculinity.
I understand.
Yeah.
But it's not that all cops are bad, because even if they're good, when they say all cops are bad, I think it's it is a shortcut. It is a shortcut.
That's what I say. If you use that, you're going to kill the conversation.
I understand what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to explain why.
I get it.
Why they say that. But no, they're not all bad. But it's because of a lot of forces and a lot of things that they cannot do what they want to do. Even the ones that are good, it's like a drop in the ocean. You know what I mean? But no, they're not. But that's what it is. Yeah, the marketing of that is very bad. Same as
because in this situation, you had the investigation woman who went to her sergeant, who got involved with the internal affairs, and everybody got involved in order to make sure she got her money back. So you saw how all of them turned on those three in a way, right? Basically said, "Now we're going to out them," and then publicly do it on a platform. So maybe that's happening more than we know.
Maybe.
And we just don't see it because not everybody's on YouTube fucking platforming everything.
Yeah.
But then when cops are doing shady shit, it's always platformed, or at least like we're hearing about it or seeing it through videos in YouTube, right?
When they get caught, yeah.
Like when a cop gets fired, they're probably not going to do a YouTube press conference all the time, right?
So story time, people. This motherfucker got fired because this is what he did. Nobody's going to put all, because it looks bad. It just looks bad, and they don't want people to make it look bad. Yeah. Cops already have a bad rap.
It's also... My suspicion is that cops, I think, feel as though their job is extremely difficult and they deal with a lot of bullshit,
it is.
right? And so they understand, the intricacies of the job. And when one of our people who they see as a good person does something bad, they want to defend them because, like, damn, we deal with so much bullshit from the outside world. Yeah. I'm not going to throw you to the wolves because I always known you to be solid. So I'm going to look over this one thing, not realizing there may be more there. You get what I'm saying? So that's also another possibility. And also, I think there's just a very much like us versus them mentality between Crocs and people.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, even if I throw this guy to the wolves, they still going to hate us. So why am I going to do that, right? Yeah. So, I mean, maybe that's just some of the stuff that goes through. But kudos to this chief, to the sheriff. I think this was interesting to hear some of the behind the scenes. And it was kind of refreshing. So, yeah, it's good to highlight good stuff, I think, as well. And, you know. Anything else?
Yeah, even though Johnson's this is the fourth time that Johnson arrested me, he's one of the good ones. Okay. Shout outs to you, Johnson.
How you arrested all the time, bro?
Why? Because I drive more than you.
No, it's because you're shifty and shady.
I'm what?
Shifty and shady.
Yeah, that too. I guess.